is Chevalier of Chevalier Life, and this is going to be episode 4 of Conversations with Chevalier. In a few minutes, we're going to have our wonderful guest, Edwina Brown, is going to be joining us in a few minutes, and we're going to get started with the conversation. So, hope you guys are having a great week. It's only Monday. It's raining here in Dallas, so I had to set up in the garage tonight. No fun. I wanted to be out on the patio. Those that watch me all the time, you guys know I love to be out on the patio, relaxing in the chair, but I had to set it up in the garage tonight because the rain won't let me be great. Hope you guys are doing okay. Are y'all hearing me okay tonight? Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I need to speak a little louder. Okay. Let's see what we got here. How's that? Is that a little better? All right, we'll see how it goes once Edwina gets on. Usually, for some reason, when I start, my volume's a little bit low, but usually when I have a guest come on, it gets a little bit better. Tonight, I am smoking, and normally I don't do this, but I'm going to do it for tonight. Tonight, I'm smoking on a Licencia Armor Fuerte. That's my go-to stick. And I decided for the lounge, I'm saying the lounge, but for the conversation tonight, I decided to pair it with a little Grolsch beer. I don't know if you guys have had this one. It's a Pilsner, known as Grolsch. Pairs well with just about anything that you're smoking. And so I'm just relaxing. This has been a great week. Like I said, it's only Monday. The reason I'm wearing purple is because you guys already know I support Domestic Violence Awareness Week and or month, and at Smoking Sarah 757 is a big supporter, a big advocate for domestic violence. She's a friend of mine out of Houston, sister of the Leaf. A lot of you guys know her, and so on most of the lives that I do, and our show, The Lounge, that Ray and I do, I usually wear purple. Hey, Kia McLean, the poet, what's up, home skillet? I see a lot of you guys joining us tonight. Let me see if my guest is about ready. Let's see here. We'll be bringing her in, and we're gonna have a conversation tonight. I can't wait. I'm excited to have her joining us tonight. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing? Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, but you're sideways. You're sort of
Okay,
like this.
hold on. Let's get you right. How we doing now?
Oh man, you in there now. That's
I'm in
right.
that
There you
thing.
go.
I'm in that thing. All right. What's
So the rain
up?
was killing your vibe too, because it was
Oh
killing
yeah.
mine.
Trying to.
It wouldn't let me be great, man. I was set up on the patio trying to do my thing. I got my cigar. I got to come in the garage, so.
Right. We gonna do it though. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
yes, we are. So I'm just going to get right into it. This is Conversations with Chevalier. Of course, I'm Chevalier. And my guest tonight is a very special person. She is Edwina Brown, owner of Blowin Smoke. I think you guys can see the sign back there. It's Blowin Smoke Cigar Lounge,
There it
Lancaster,
is.
Texas, out on I-35. If you haven't been there, you're missing out. Tuesday night karaoke is an amazing place. But also, Edwina is, I like to describe her as a polarizing figure. She's got a lot of background,
That's
and I want to
pressure. That's
talk about it
pressure.
tonight. Hey, that's what it is, man. Look, not many people can sit down here in Dallas and say they got a former WNBA star,
Man, I
on
appreciate
their
it.
show,
Yeah.
a philanthropist, and,
Yes.
an entrepreneur. And so I wanted to, first say thank you for joining me tonight and having this conversation. So we're just going to jump right into it. But before we do, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. On the
Okay.
lounge, I always like to figure out, first of all, what you smoking. So what you smoking tonight?
Tonight, we are going with the Placencia Hexagon Natural. What? You got the Maduro?
Yes, ma'am. The Alma
Look at
Fuerte.
God. Look at God.
Look at God out here. Look at it. And what you drinking tonight?
Tonight, I have chosen the Bacardi 8. I got a little bit of rum. We're gonna give some love to Big Tex. This is one of his brands, so that's Bacardi 8 we're drinking on the night.
And what's your favorite music to listen to when you set in the vibe? I know in the lounge you always groove and you all over the place, but what's your favorite music?
I'm mood based. I'm mood based on smoke, on drink, music. I think here lately, I've been playing a lot of jazz, instrumental versions of things. Just kind of, getting in the zone. I find myself
Okay.
playing that a lot in the lounge whenever I'm just working before I open the doors, and in the early part of the night, we play that, and then we turn on a little R&B.
All right, all right. And the
Yeah.
last question is, what's your favorite food or restaurant?
Mm. Favorite food would have to be Mexican or seafood. I could pretty much alternate, eat those every day, Mexican or seafood. Restaurant wise, I like to support small and local. So I've been going to Ojeda's a lot. That's in DeSoto.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think they have a location up north. I haven't been to that one, but it's a family owned and operated company. Very good food, quick on the turnaround. Order is out in probably 5 minutes. And it's just anything Mexican, anything seafood and Mexican. But I've, lived all over the world, so I can eat pretty much anything.
And we're gonna talk about some of that today
Okay,
too.
okay.
We're gonna jump into that because you have been all over the place.
Yeah,
O'Hagan's is a great spot. That other location is up in the Oak Lawn area off
okay,
of, I believe it's Maple. It's
okay,
on Maple Avenue. That's the one I go to. Never been to the one down on the south side. I got to check it
okay.
out though. We're gonna have to get down there and eat some Mexican food together one of these
There you
days
go.
soon.
Let's do it. Let's do
All
it.
right, so jumping right into this. You know what? You're a sister of the leaf, cigar aficionado per se, cigar entrepreneur. How did your journey with cigars start?
It's interesting because in 2017, I stepped away from coaching. I landed in Dallas because I took a job at TCU. So that's how I landed in DFW, so Fort Worth. I was there a couple years. Then I went over to SMU. And so that's how I landed in Dallas. And so in 2017, I stepped back. I was up for three head jobs. I didn't get them. And I stepped back and said, well, let me reevaluate life and let's
Right.
see what's going on. And I took a year off. I took a vacation every single month for a year. And I said, I want to go new places. I want to do new things. I just want to try things. And so a friend of mine, matter of fact, text, he was like, hey, come out, smoke with me. I was like, smoke? What are you talking about? Smoke? He said, I have a group. Long story short, I went out to one of his Whiskey Wednesday vibes, and I smoked my
Mhm.
first cigar in
Wow.
2017.
And you've been hooked ever since.
And I've been hooked ever since. Yeah,
So would you call yourself a cigar aficionado officially now?
for sure. And it's aficionada with an A at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah.
Okay, as a female.
Okay.
But yeah, for sure. Just because I smoke a ton, I probably get a chance to smoke more than most just because I'm trying blends. But I study a lot. I read a lot. I study a lot. Actually taking a course right now, Tobacconist U. So I'm always, forward thinking, just trying to grow myself as a person and really as a tobacconist.
Well, I tell you what, I've learned a lot from you just over the last year of knowing you. So, I think I need to take that course as well.
There
But
you go.
here's my question though. I got
Okay,
another
okay.
question. Did you have any idea that you would be a lounge owner and relatively fast at that?
No, no. It's just by chance. I mean, that is how God works. I believe in the creator. So it's how he works. I went to an event, matter of fact, with Tex in this group. He's like, hey, let's come out, let's support this particular lounge that's trying to stay afloat. So I went. I didn't understand. I'm just going to hang out at this point. I'm just kicking it, right? I'm trying to learn about this thing. It's fun. I like the vibe. I like the environment. I like people. And we happened to go to the location where the original lounge was birthed. And at that time, that was my first time in the location. I was struggling. Ended up having a powwow with one of the owners that turned into, hey, I can help. Let's put a blueprint out of how I can transition into taking over, rebranding, doing some things that I want to do, and that's how it happened. Just by
Wow.
chance, it fell in my lap. I tell people it fell in my lap. It fell in my lap.
Wow. So that, you know what? And the next thing I was going to ask you was how did you prepare? But it looked like you didn't have a lot of time to prepare.
No, it fell in my lap. I was like, oh, okay, well, let's. But you have to be ready. You have to be ready, just business inclined. I'm a business minor. I didn't know how I would use it, later in life. But I always found myself, even when I coached for these universities, I was a top recruiter, but I was in charge of the budget. So just understanding how to balance, all the coaches, travel and expense reports and the budget. So I knew I had something there. I just didn't know how I would apply, into the next career.
Right, right. So once you got going though, because like you said, it fell into your lap, not a lot of time to prepare. But once you got going, what was probably the biggest challenge that you faced getting started?
Well, I'm a preparer. Like I want to study. I'm gonna outwork you, right? I might not know everything, but I think that I'm gonna outwork you. So because I didn't have any preparation for this, I was learning on the job. I was learning,
Wow.
learning as I went, making up stuff, anything that I read that day, trying to apply it, in the lounge. If I'm selling something to a customer, trying to talk about that specific cigar, memorizing the blend of the
Wow.
cigar, not really knowing what I'm tasting, but growing that avenue to be able to actually talk about it through experience and not just from on paper. So
That's
learning on the job.
strange though. That's strange because, for me, one of my biggest challenges as I've been in the cigar lifestyle now is learning my palate.
Hmm.
So I can only imagine how difficult it is when you're trying to sell a cigar to somebody and you're not quite sure what the flavors are that you tasted. How did you kind of overcome that? I mean, you just kind of pressed on and kept pushing.
What try new things, right?
Hmm.
So my first cigar was Java Red. Java Red, right? So I started on flavors. I was comfortable in the flavor lane as a consumer. So now, fast forward that I'm an owner, it's like, okay, I have to try new things. I need to be able to talk about this. I turned my palate off many days, like, ooh, that's too
Wow.
harsh. Just realizing, hey, how to grow it from the flavors through a mild cigar, through a medium, to a full body. And even now that I can smoke full, I still smoke flavors because
Wow.
I'm mood based. I'm mood based, and it depends on how I feel. It depends on time of day. Um, just learn on the job, really. That's really how it happens.
You know what, duly noted, because that's something, I've got some aspirations, and that's I'm
Okay.
gonna take that to heart, because
Okay.
definitely that's something that I've been thinking about. Oh, so next, I gotta know what was your greatest accomplishment so far in the cigar business?
In the cigar business, I was like,
In the
oh,
cigar
cigar.
business.
Okay. Greatest accomplishment. Ooh, that's tough. I will say, just because we are approaching 4 years in business, which is hard for entrepreneur. It's hard for any business. They say if you can get past three, you're starting to get some momentum. So as we approach four, I think that is applaudable. That is something to really be cheerful and joyful about, because it's been hard. It's been times where I'm like, man, forget this. I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying? Like I was not ready for this. But I think our 4 year anniversary being next month on the 12th, that is my biggest accomplishment thus far.
Wow. I can't
Yeah.
wait. I'm gonna be there too. We're definitely gonna be there in the building.
Okay.
I
Okay.
tell you what, we had a good time last year. This year is gonna be epic. I got a feeling. I got a feeling. You
Yes,
guys
sir.
know how to put on a party over there.
Man, it's a lot of work. It's a lot
Yeah,
of work.
but
People are
y'all
like,
don't
it's
make
a
it
lot
look
of work.
like work. Funny thing, y'all don't make it look like work though. But you got amazing staff at
Mhm.
Blowin Smoke. Customer service is top notch. And the funny thing that I don't see in a lot of places I go, I go in some different lounges from time to time, and I primarily smoke at yours, but I go in some different lounges. I don't see the staff trying to build a relationship with the customer the way your staff does, the way you do as a leader and your
Thank
staff
you.
does at Blowin Smoke. I mean, it's
Thank you.
it's it's something to be commended. Hey, I live way out in Forney. I live 40 miles
Yeah,
away,
that's
and I
far,
drive
far.
all the way over there just to buy a cigar. Because
Yeah.
I feel like I'm at home when I walk in the door, and that's
Well, I
that's
appreciate it.
that's amazing. That is
It's a
definitely amazing.
it's a lot of not only teaching, but I meet with them monthly. I'm not saying that others don't. We're in constant communication. I have some type of communication with them pretty much every day in our group chat. just continuing to repeat the vision, how we want people to feel. And if I don't teach it now, then I'll have to teach it later when it's too late.
Right.
So
Right.
that's important to me, and that's my coach background, right? If you don't teach it now, you have to teach it later. So just constantly teaching them, showing them, literally showing them, talking about cleaning. You know, this is how I would like things to be done. This is unacceptable. This is acceptable. Just down to the finite detail. But as far as hospitality and customer service, because that is one of our top 3 core pillars, then that's something that's harped on every day.
Yeah, and it shows. It shows. The one thing that I like that I see, some of the times I come in there when you're in there, because you know I pop in there sometimes and you just in the humidor doing some work.
Right.
Sometimes I catch you when you walking around out there on a Saturday midday or a Sunday. You know, I see you cleaning. Even though you got staff there, one of the things I've always admired about you is that, you know what, just because you're part of that owner team, no task is too great or too small for you. I see you walking in, I see you shaking hands, you'll break back off to the right, ring somebody out, come over, clean out an ashtray.
I'm all over the place.
Yeah, you know,
I know.
so that's gotta be something that makes your staff say, hey, if she can do it, then we can do it. You know, and it shows in doing it. It shows. That's why I love Blowin Smoke. That's why I'm honored to have you. So I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. I got to go to basketball.
Okay.
I got to get to basketball. So when did you first know in your life, because you've been playing basketball a long time. So when did you know when did you discover your passion for basketball?
So my memory dates back to, I believe, 8 years old. I can remember specifically playing on the playground at school. We had a basketball goal, no net, right? So I have a memory of having to have a person stand under the goal, because when you shoot the basketball, you weren't sure if it went in or not, right? It's just the ring, right? So it's hard to see, especially with the sun. So I have a memory of that. That's 8 years old. I think that's 3rd grade. And then by 5th grade, because it was right down the street from the house that I grew up in at that time, there were outside courts. So I remember going to those courts after school every day, every weekend. That's how I know that I was in love with it then.
Wow. And you started here in Dallas, or I read that you lived in Lockhart.
Lockhart. I'm from Lockhart. I've lived in Lockhart my entire life, childhood life. So I was born here in Dallas, but then shortly after, months later, moved to Lockhart, which is about 30 miles southeast of Austin.
Okay.
So country town. I'm a country girl. So the whole, how you doing? Welcome in. How you doing, baby? Hi, sweetheart. I'm a Southern girl like that.
Yeah, I see that.
It don't mean anything, or it's not flirtatious. That is who I am. That's what was instilled in me. I'm the sitting on the porch waving at everybody that drive by type of person. But yeah, since I would say 3rd grade is my first memory of basketball, and then 5th grade I knew I was excited and I loved it. I was the only girl, but I didn't care. It was something in me. Yeah, it was something in me that I continued to gravitate back to the court time and time again. Only girl out there, all the boys.
Oh, wow. So what was your high school days like? Because I assume, obviously, you played all the way through high school into college. What was your high school days like in basketball?
Fun. It was fun. Freshman year, making varsity. I come from a town that is predominantly Caucasian, right, where the lower percentage of demographic. So, I had a little bit of those struggles, trying to battle that. I will use the word, a little bit of racism.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that, but it definitely is real. Yeah. I remember fighting the number that I wore my entire career, which is 24, and how I received that number. There was a whole big debate about it. I'm talking about the team, almost turned their back on me and getting that number. It's a story to it. Well, the short.
We got a little time. We got a little time. What's up?
The short version. There was an athlete that graduated the year before I entered high school, 9th grade, and she wore 24, and she ended up getting a scholarship. And so I think that the players that played with her, that overlap between our tenures, the two of us, they wanted it to be retired. And
Wow.
so, whereas I started as a freshman, I started JV, and then immediately first tournament, high school coach was like, "Hey, you know, we need bodies, and you're good enough. I'm bringing you up. So here's your jersey." Literally threw it at me. "Here's your jersey. Bus leaves at this time."
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, I know nothing about. I don't understand why this number 24 it packs so much weight. So I get to the gym, you know, road trip. I put it on. You know, they're snickering and doing all that, and I don't know what's going on. I just want to play basketball. I just want to win. And come to find out, it was a thing. It was a
Wow.
thing. So I wore that 24 my entire career. I think one professional team had to wear 23, but that's pretty much been my number. You know, we struggled in high school. My team we were good, but we weren't great. I had 5 coaches in 4 years. Do the math on that. 5
Wow.
varsity coaches
Five.
in
Wow.
in 4
Somebody
years.
somebody quit or got fired in the middle of one of the seasons. That sounds like North 40 High School. You met my son. He played varsity in his freshman year out here at Forney. Same
Mm,
thing. The first
mm,
year they had a coach that couldn't coach. The second year they got a new coach. The third year they got rid of that coach, and so he decided to go to Faith Family and play. And
mm-hmm.
then
Good school.
he couldn't assimilate into the Faith Family lifestyle. But
Oh, come
he was
on.
cool with the court. He was cool with the court. The coach is an amazing guy, but he couldn't, coming from the suburbs and going down there on the lower side, it was a little
Got
rough
you.
for him.
It was a little
But
rough.
he came
Okay.
back here to Forney, and he's been doing
Yeah.
his thing, and so I'm hoping to see good things for him. But it sounds like his story is almost going to kind of mirror yours. He came back
Yeah.
out here, and he's stepping into a new group, and he's
Good.
shining, and
Good.
everybody's not feeling it. They're not
Yeah.
feeling it. So
Listen,
definitely
everybody's not
interesting.
going to feel it. They are
Yeah.
not going to feel it. But no, I loved high school. I mean, that's my hometown. That's where my grandmother's from, and all of the relatives, and those are my roots. It was hard, but it taught me a lot. I do remember, and I'll tell this last story about high school basketball. We played a particular team. I'll leave the name out of it. And known as being a little racist. Actually, their mascot was a rebel, right? So that rebel flag, and they had all of that.
Hmm.
Okay, go figure that out.
I think
They had,
I'm figuring it out already.
so they had a rebel flag. So we're playing an away game. This game is to decide who wins district, and it's away. So when we pull up in the bus, there's security. Security's ready. This is a girls' game now, not a boys' game. This is a
Right,
girls'
right.
game. So we pull up in their security, and I'm like, "What is going on?" I'm in it, but you don't know until life is lived forward, but you understand backwards. You don't know until you pass that point. So
Right, right.
I pull up and I'm like, why do we need security? Like, what is going on? Okay, well, come to find out, the game starts, and halfway before we get to halftime, I'm seeing people in the stands going back and forth. Our fans, their fans, they're going back and forth. We come back out. They're like, go back in the locker room type of situation. We got to get
Oh,
the court
wow.
clear, get everybody. So I come back out, people spitting, throwing stuff on us, coming out of the little, like it was really, really bad.
Wow.
Really bad. So we finished the game. We ended up losing the game. And at some point, I look back. They're pushing us into the locker room. I look back, and I see my sister jumping over the bench, going after
Oh,
somebody.
oh boy. When that flat family's in the bleachers, hey, you
Yeah,
don't know what
yeah.
you're gonna get.
So they kept us in the locker room for some time until they cleared all that out. But it was a deal. It was a little debacle. It was a deal.
Now you were voted in your senior year, what was it, the Texas 4A Player of the Year. Is that right?
Stay off the internet, man. Stay
Man,
off
look,
the internet.
I had to do my research on you because I knew it was way more than this. It's gonna be way more than this interview. Player of the year, though. So you started out as a star. I'm putting it out there.
I appreciate it.
Started out as a star, and then you went to UT. And so, what was that like with the transition from high school to UT? because you're on a
Yeah.
much bigger stage at this point.
Right. A big fish in a small pond in Lockhart going into a small fish in a big pond, you know, in one of the largest universities in the country. The good thing for me is that home was 30 minutes away. You know,
Wow.
that I can't imagine going to that magnitude of a university states away.
Wow.
I I would have been lost. But the fact that I was able to get home in 30 minutes, my family could get there. My relatives worked in Austin. I had a large, you know, family base, second, third cousins that were in Austin that could get to me, that were at games. So that definitely helped. I do remember at some point freshman year making that call home, like, hey, I want to come home.
Wow.
I had that conversation.
Wow.
I had that conversation because I went from, as you saying, being the best at my particular level, right, for
Hmm.
4A, high school 4A, to being one of the best, right? You're having athletes from all over the world. We had a player from Wisconsin. We had a player
Wow.
from California. You know, people are choosing this university from different states. So I was just another athlete again. I had to start over.
Wow.
I was a
Wow.
freshman again. So I made that phone call and I said, I want to come home, come get me.
What did they
And
say?
my
What did they
grandmother
say?
told me something that I'll never forget. She told me, baby, you're not coming home. She said, but what I want you to learn, she said, you got to learn how to fall on your knees and pray for yourself.
Wow.
She said, you calling
Wow.
home, you want to come home, you want prayer, you got to, she's like, you on your own. You got to figure out how to pray for what you want on your own. So I'll never forget that.
Yeah, that grandma wisdom is something.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, those of us, because I got a lot of friends don't even know what that's like at a certain point
Mm-hmm.
in their life. And I can remember going in the Marine Corps, get ready to go overseas for the first time and actually, you know, talking to mine and feeling like, man, everything is all right just because grandma said it was going to be now. Grandma don't know what I'm about to do over here. She don't know nothing about anything outside of Missouri. But just because she said it,
Yeah.
just because she said it.
It gave you
So
security. Yeah.
oh yeah, oh yeah. And sometimes you just need that. So was it any different? I hear a lot of the guys that go off to college. I have, you know, I got another son that plays some college ball, and I know what he kind of said. What was it like for the ladies being a woman going over to UT and getting in and getting started? You know, was it really challenging to kind of assimilate with the other players? Because I imagine some of those players have been there longer than you. And then you went on a. Did you get a full ride with them? Was
Yes.
that yeah? So what did you face any challenges being that freshman coming in on a full ride? Was it like you were being tested all the time?
For sure, for sure. And something to know in basketball, there are no partials. If you're a Division I university, there are no partial scholarships. You are either full or walk on. And so being thrown in with the other 14 players, with the 15 spots on the roster, I didn't feel like I had to fight for a scholarship because that was already given. At that time, it's guaranteed. Once you sign, you're guaranteed your 4 years. That is not the case now. It is year to year. They may not tell you that.
Wow.
So I didn't feel like, you know, my school wouldn't be paid for. I never felt that pressure or that threat. For me, it was I wanted to start, right? We're mesmerized and hypnotized with starting. I want to start. I want to be a starter. I want to be a starter. And when I wasn't, then that shook me.
Wow.
That shook me up because I started, you know, at least for 3.5, 4 years in high school.
From
So
freshman,
that's,
you're
yeah,
varsity freshman. Yeah.
right, right. So that shook me up a little bit. So understanding, you know, I had that tough conversation with my college coach, which is a Hall of Famer, Jody Conrad, and I said, hey, I want to start. Like, that's my goal. What do I need to do to start? And she told me, I need you to cover the best player on the team. And the second thing she did almost crushed me. She said, have you noticed that you've gained weight?
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like,
Wow.
me? She punched me in my chest. Me?
Wow. Yes,
She
she
said,
did.
yeah. And
That,
I was like,
normally
wow.
you wouldn't hear that from a woman, but she a coach.
No. She was like, I want you to see someone. So I started seeing a nutritionist. I didn't notice. A lot of it was muscle because we're lifting, you know, 3-4 times a week.
Right.
That freshman 15 is real. Even as an athlete, it's more muscle because your body is changing.
Right. Right.
But it still slowed me down. So the times where that first, second step, I could get past players, that wasn't happening anymore. So she was
Oh,
like,
wow.
if you can cover the best player, and they just start seeing this nutritionist, and if you can be the best rebounding guard, then you'll start. She didn't say anything about
Wow.
scoring.
That's all
I
she
said,
was worried about.
that's it. So I
Wow.
did that. I did that.
Wow. Hey, follow instructions. You asked
Yeah.
for it, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
got exactly what you were looking for. So you played your 4 years at UT. Hook 'em, best school in Texas. Gotta hook 'em. Gotta
Yes.
one time for UT. I know it's some people on here that don't agree. You got another lounge owner not far away from you that's like diehard Baylor.
I know. That's okay.
Yeah, he can't help it. He can't help
Yeah.
it. Waco,
Sometimes you don't
Austin.
know any better.
So you played your 4 years. You did your thing. Obviously, it was time to go into the draft. What was that feeling like when you knew, as you started to approach that? What was it like?
Surreal.
Wow.
There were some things that happened before, because I didn't realize I was a decent player. I didn't know. When you're in it, you don't know what's going on around you. Like, okay, it's not a big deal because it's you.
Mm-hmm.
But I was fortunate enough to make 2 national teams the 2 years prior, the 2 summers prior, to compete for the USA team and travel abroad. So I knew I was in that certain upper percentage. Draft comes around. Now, mind you, freshman year, WNBA did not exist.
Right.
The WNBA was established the summer after my freshman year in 1997. So at that point, I had a reachable goal, right? Before I
Right.
went in my college degree. I'm the first one in my family to graduate from college. That's a big deal for me. And then the W was birthed, and now I had something else to reach for. So last 2 years, I'm like, okay, I might be doing something. I might be on to something. And senior year, the awards start coming around, and I'm like deer in headlights. Like, thank you, shaking hands. I don't know. Here you go, Mom. Put this up in the house somewhere.
Oh Lord. Oh
and
Lord.
and then they said, we're going to invite 16 players to the draft. And I'm like, okay, well, cool. And we want to invite you. I'm like, okay, one of 16. That may be something.
So was that a simple phone call to you or to the coach? How did that go?
They call your coach.
They call you coach?
Yeah, they call your coach, and she has that conversation with you, kind of prep you for what's to come, what's to happen. So I was very informed, just because my coach is deeply rooted and grounded with women's basketball. This has been her entire career and what she's done for the game. She's a legend when it comes to women's basketball. So she would get inside information to be able to give it to me. So I was prepared. I was prepared on what was going to happen, what's to come on these trips, what to wear, I was prepared for everything.
Now, you know what, Edwina, you're real modest. I noticed that because you kind of skipped over that part about your accomplishments in college, So I'm just going to hit 2 of them, the 2 that caught my eye. You just kind of breezed by them a little bit, real smooth. Like, I like that, though. That's all right. There was 2 things that I saw that caught my eye. Gold medalist in Taiwan, I think I saw, and bronze medalist in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. I was like, man, woo! Wow. What was that like? What was that feeling like to stand there and get a gold medal?
Once in a lifetime opportunity.
Wow.
Once in a lifetime. You're in a foreign country, but you see red, white, and blue everywhere, right? Especially for our game. Anyone that's passionate about America, whichever country you're from, they're coming red, white, and blue. But to be able to run behind that flag during ceremony, I think the ceremony, even more than, the confetti going up and you win a championship and the teammates everywhere and we're taking pictures, but that ceremony of walking with your country group, United States, basketball, in whatever sport it was, being at your training facility, you walk into a specific facility and you have all of these different countries getting treatment. They may not speak English. You don't speak their language, but you're in one location with them. It's like, okay, this is what's next.
Wow.
And you better figure it out. You better be able to adapt, or you're not gonna last.
Yeah, it sounds
It's
like lots of pressure. Sounds
Yeah,
like
it's not
lots
even
of
the
pressure.
sport. It's not even
Mhm.
the sport. It's the rest of it. It's the off the court stuff that breaks people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. When I read that, and I saw there's so many accolades, man. You got a long list of things, and I'm not even gonna just jump into all of that because we could talk for the next 20 minutes about your accomplishments, really. And it's amazing. I just want my daughter to meet you. I know you met my sons, but
I met your sons.
like
Yep.
when I read that stuff, and I talk to my daughter all the time, and she's 13 years old now. I was like, this is somebody that I want her to meet. And I was reading this stuff the other day, and I was just amazed. I was amazed. I'm so proud to know you. I'm so proud
Man,
of you.
you better stop it.
Man, look. I like to give flowers while you here.
I
Wait until
appreciate
you
the flowers.
go,
Oh
man.
man, I
Man,
appreciate it.
take
I
these
appreciate
flowers.
it.
They
You're
are
right.
well deserved.
You're right.
They
You're
are
right.
well deserved. So you go into the draft, right? You get
Mhm.
you get drafted. So how was that? When you got drafted, I know how you felt great. It was surreal when the coach told you. But when they called your name, what did you do?
Well, a backstory of that, and I'm going to answer that. And it kind of ties into something that just happened in our area. You probably heard about the young lady that was shot and killed playing pickup with a friend of hers
Yes,
that shot
yes,
her, right? And
yes.
how you're like, hey, just because she beat him, and it's a thing. So I was playing pickup. This is before the draft, maybe a month before the draft. So in between senior season ending and then the draft, which was at that time in April. So you got that little month gap. So I'm playing pickup, trying to stay in shape. And it was late one night, and I guess this guy was either back in town visiting, I don't know, but he wasn't a regular in the gym. So he didn't know who I was. And I only say that to say he didn't know that a female should be playing at this particular level. So I'm clowning. I'm doing him bad. And I'm only doing that because he opened his mouth. Like he said something to me. And I'm like, oh,
Right,
okay.
right.
Like, no, it's not what, okay. So I take him to the post. Now I'm really clowning him, right? So I'm like, I got a kid on me. Like, so I'm making a move and I turn and he closed fists down on my hand and breaks
Oh
it.
wow.
Closed fist down on my hand, he breaks it. Everybody's going in on him at the gym. I go get treatment. They're like, let's get an x-ray. So long story short, I'm at the draft with a half cast.
Wow.
So I had to prep them. I don't know when you're calling my name. God willing, you're going to call my name. I'm here. I'm assuming you're going to call my name. But when you call my name, I'm going to take my cast off and put it under my chair. And I'm going to walk up there. And when you shake my hand, just know my hand is broken. My name's called. This is the backstory. I go up and I shake hands with 3 fingers. But the moment was great. But this is what I remember about my draft
Wow.
day.
They didn't put the super squeeze on your hand, did they?
No, they didn't. They didn't.
Thank God. Thank God. So who drafted you? Where'd you go?
So I was drafted to Detroit. I was the 3rd pick in the first round. At that time, my draft, which was 2000, was the last draft for the ABL. So any basketball, women's basketball buffs, we had
Right.
a semi-pro league that was the ABL. That league folded. It dismantled. And so those players were being drafted into the W. So my draft was the last one. So I went 3rd. I was the first college player because of the 2 ABL players that were drafted before me. So I went to Detroit and spent 3 years there. Nancy Lieberman was the coach at that time that
Yes,
drafted
yes.
me. Yeah, she drafted me. So it was a fun experience. All the experiences were fun. For me, just being in a different part of the country, I had traveled to different countries, but being in a different part of the United States. I'm a Texas girl, stayed home for college in Texas, and now I'm launched into Michigan. So I'm
That's a
like,
culture shock. That's culture shock right there. Detroit is a whole nother lifestyle, unlike anything in Texas at all. I bet that's a far cry from Lockhart.
it is, it is. But I enjoyed it only
Yeah.
because when you're a part of a team, that's your family, right? That's your immediate
Right.
new family. So you immediately have family in that location, right?
Wow.
And
That's
because we
true.
spend so much time on the court, so much time traveling, all we know is our teammates and our coaches.
Right.
That's really it. So to enjoy the city or to meet other people in the city, it doesn't happen as often as you may think.
So did you, when you first got up there, and of course, just like going into college, did you feel that same pressure like you did going into college, and in a sense that you got to really step up and, you know, make your mark and make yourself known? You know, did
Definite,
you? Hmm.
definite. I felt the pressure, one, because I'm their number one draft pick, right? And then they traded two spots to get that spot, that third pick. They traded two players that were on the team prior. One of them is now a Hall of Famer to get my pick.
I was going
So
to ask you who you played against, but go ahead and finish because I can't wait to hear
yeah, so that
this.
that was a lot of pressure that I had to replace. Those all stars at the time. One of them, Genazi, was an all star for sure. So they
Yeah.
traded her to get that spot in order to draft me. And then the added pressure of arriving at training camp with a broken hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much time did you have between the time you got
Draft
started to
day,
playing? Yeah,
draft day
yeah.
and practice.
Really?
Uh, Between draft day and practice,
Yeah.
maybe eight to 10 days.
That's it. You didn't have
That's
some
it.
weeks. So
No.
you was playing hurt for a minute then.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. That speaks to your intestinal fortitude. That's what we call that in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
That's intestinal
Intestinal
fortitude.
fortitude. Gotcha.
Fortitude. Yes.
Yeah.
It's the drive and the ability to persevere through great pain and sacrifice. You
Mhm.
know, they talk about that a lot in the Marine Corps. You know, when you go to battle, you want to live, and that was
Mhm.
your battle. You were stepping into
Absolutely.
battle. You know, and you know
Absolutely.
you got to survive. You can't die. You got to go in there and suck it up and get it. You know, it goes past being brave. It goes, the biggest fight that any person can ever have is with themselves. You
Yes.
know, that's the one battle that you never want to lose. That was one of the lessons I learned at 18 when I first went to the Marine Corps. You don't ever want to lose a battle with yourself because your end result in war is to live. So
Right.
definitely. So after your time in the WNBA, you played some international ball too, huh? I found that out because I was really Googling you a lot.
Lord have mercy. You did your homework. You did your
I
homework.
did some homework.
No, it actually was at the same time. So with the W, because we play in the summer, then we have that 8 months, right, off. So at that time, majority of players were going overseas. Now that percentage of players going abroad is less, right? Because you're getting endorsements and the
Right.
game has changed. The landscape of women's basketball has blossomed, it's groomed, it's grown. So at that time, I went overseas. So there were times in between the W season and the international season where I would have 2 and 3 days at home.
Wow.
So I may have to pack up in whatever city, Detroit, Phoenix, and Houston. That's who I play for, and then go home for 2 days, unpack, repack, and then get on the international flight.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and you're gone until you normally get a Christmas break to come home. Whether it is a week or 2 weeks, and then you go right back, and you're there up until your W season. But some players, a lot of European, like Russia, what's going on with Russia with BG,
Right.
but um, there are other countries where their league extended longer, so they may be well into training camp before they would arrive back to the Americas. So there were times you had no days off.
Wow. Wow. That's something. So was the compensation, I would imagine now it's a lot different back then. Were
Mhm.
WNBA players getting rich or very, very comfortable, you know, because I think the endorsements, you know, I don't know how the endorsements went back then, but
My
I
my little
remember
sign is falling. I'm sorry.
that's
Look
all
at it.
right.
Look at it. Look at it. You got to keep the branding up here, brother.
Yeah, I know that's right. You should have got right in front of it so we can see the blowing smoke, but you know, I tried to do that in all of the advertising. I tried to put the B up in the sky on the ad that I was doing. You know, I want to
Now,
make
is
sure that
that on your
everybody
wall?
knows.
Don't grace past that. Is that on your wall or is that
No,
on?
so that's part of my display
Okay.
for when I do my vending.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so I
Got you.
can set it up. I usually set it up when I do a live or something like this. When I do
I got you.
conversations.
Look at me. Look at me. Let's scoot this thing. Oh, this wind. This
Yeah, yeah,
rain is
you gotta
cutting
get
up.
it right. Take your time. Take your time.
Oh,
You at
you're good.
home. You
We're
at
good.
home right now. You with family. So after all of your international play, and you kind of segued over, or you transitioned over into coaching. What was that like? Did you feel like you were starting over when you started coaching?
uh, yes, of course, because you're learning something new.
Hmm.
I think for me, because I knew that I would be retiring within the next 2 years of when I started sending out emails, right? I don't know what gave me the presence of mind to send out emails to college coaches to say, hey, I'm Edwina Brown, Payne University of Texas, a little bit of my resume, and I'm interested in coaching, would be interested in your staff. I started sending out emails. And then when I got back home, I went and had a conversation with the head coach at the University of Texas, because my coach had retired. I had a conversation with her, and I said, "Hey, want to let you know I'm probably gonna hang it up in the next year or so, and would love to be on your coaching staff. I have a passion for coaching and teaching the next generation and giving back as it pertains to my gifts and talents. And I just want you to think about me." So I came home in 2010, December 2010. In January of 2011, she said, "Hey, just be around the team. Just be around. I'm gonna throw you responsibilities. This is gonna be a volunteer basis." I said, "That's fine." I had a house in Austin at the time, so I lived
Hmm.
there. And I said, "That's fine." And by April, I had a job.
Wow, and that's when you became the strength and conditioning coach.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Hmm.
man. You know what? I wish right now, I wish that I had a bunch of young people on this live right now, because the story, when I started conversations with Chevalier, I didn't want it to just be about cigars. I wanted it to be conversation over cigars. A
Right.
great cigar, a great drink, and some great conversation, an opportunity to learn and grow, and inspire. And right now, I know one of my sons is in there playing PlayStation. I saw one of them jump in here, but every young athlete needs to see this live.
Thank you.
They need to know and understand this journey. What you've laid out, you can safely assume in between all of the gaps that we haven't really filled because we don't have that much time. There was a lot
Right.
of work and dedication, a lot
Hmm.
of work
For
and
sure.
dedication, and they need to know that. They need to know that it's not just about the money, it's not about the shine, it's about intestinal fortitude,
Right.
passion and dedication. And so you embody all those things, Edwina.
Thank
It's
you.
just, I just feel good about even talking to you tonight. So I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
skip through the rest of the coaching stuff because you did a lot of stuff with University of Texas, University of New Mexico, TCU,
Yeah.
and then SMU, which we got some SMU alums on here. Shop She Smokes has been hollering in the comments for the
Ah!
last 10 minutes. She been hollering in the comments in the last 10 minutes. So, she gonna rep her Mustangs. That's what she does. She's
Yeah.
gonna do that. But you also, after coaching and maybe even during coaching, you started with some philanthropy and you came up with a group, mapped out.
Yeah. So I actually started mapped out at the end of my playing career. So
Mhm.
around about 07, 08, I retired in 2010. So 07, 08, I started that as I was trying to build business opportunities and, give back to the community. So I started that. I had a few years where it was really growing. And then once I jumped into coaching, I couldn't figure out who to hand it off to.
Wow.
So as a college coach, there are certain rules. There are NCAA rules that you can't cross those lines. And so
Right.
the contact with the young women and men, right? Because it was for boys and girls. I couldn't have. It was a lot of providing, camp tuition or apparel, just kind of standing in the gap, right? Standing in the
Yeah.
gap for those that were less fortunate, like myself, because I had
Right.
someone that stood in the gap for me growing up. That's what it was about. So mapped out was MAPD, mentoring athletes and providing dreams. So it was a lot of that. Once I got to college coaching, it had to dissolve. I took a year of trying to figure out who to hand it off to, if I can kind of work idly in the background, but not cross the NCAA rule. But I couldn't figure out how to make it work. So
Wow.
when I stepped down in 2017 from coaching, here I am. I took a year to just, let my hair breathe in the wind. Cigars fell in my lap. And then I said, you know what? This is a passion of mine. I want to do this. I want to pick this back up. So then at Edwina Foundation, I wanted to have my name attached to it, just so people understood, who's the founder. You'll see a lot of pro athletes that have their name foundation, their name charity,
Right.
their name, so I wanted to keep it in that vein, and have Edwina Foundation. And so that was established. I would say I really got going maybe a year and a half ago, or really trying to push that, and really grow it, maybe 2 years. And with this first round, I want to be able to offer scholarships to two young students. I wanted to start in my high school, and this is no shame to them. I have not been able to get in contact with any of them.
Wow.
Which is sad. I've reached out.
Wow.
I actually went back home a few years ago. Thought that would make the contact, but it didn't. So I think I'm just going to choose the school here, push out the criteria of how to qualify. There's going to be an essay that needs to be written in order to receive this scholarship, just to provide and just to donate and just to help some people along the way.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's good. We don't have enough of that either. I watch the AAU kind of system and how it works, which is good, but sometimes it seems like it's becoming more big business than it is about the team, the players. It's not about, I've seen some teams that are good about really mentoring these, young people and teaching them how to carry themselves, not just how to be on the court, but off the court. But now, this last couple of years, I haven't seen a lot of that. And so, it sounds like the Edwina Foundation is going to be contributing to that. And
I believe so.
That's a beautiful
I hope
thing.
so, for sure.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. So let's change gears. We're going to get back over to the cigar world a little bit. So
all right.
Right in us just talking about your history, it gives me a full view of who you are now and why you are the person you are in the cigar industry.
Yeah.
And, I know we don't have a lot of time to talk, but I just want to say, I just want to commend you, Edwina, for being who you are and staying true to yourself. One of the things that I've learned about you in being around you is two things, really. It's got to, you know what?
I can't wait.
If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
It don't make no sense.
I learned that about you. You didn't have to tell me. And you're a woman of your word. You're a woman of your word, and you don't let everybody in your circle. So if a person is in your circle, then they earn the right to be in. You in, and you keep it 100 all the time, and you are low key supportive. A lot of people don't know just how supportive you are behind the scenes, and I've experienced it personally. Without you ever telling me, and I found out, oh, this shit happened because of Edwina. Edwina did this. And I really appreciate that. A lot of people, like I said, I believe in giving roses. Men, women, it doesn't matter. I believe in giving roses. And, people need to know, about you on the cigar scene, that you don't only talk the talk, you walk the walk.
Absolutely.
And it shows in, your business acumen, how you run your business, how you go out and support others. And I saw once you over at Roz's spot one night a couple of weeks ago. You went over to support her. I saw that. And, it's really, you set a fine example for all of these young guys like me coming up in the cigar industry. That it teaches me, hey, you know what? In order to receive, you got to give.
You got to give.
You got to give. You got to give.
Yeah. You have to invest. It's fundamental, right? It's fundamental in whatever you believe. And I'm not trying to be all religious or spiritual, but you have to give to receive. Right. So let's think about daily life, investing into stocks, investing, putting money in the bank. You can't go to ATM machine with ATM card and withdraw if you haven't put in, so it's fundamental. So if I want support, or if I want, and I live by the law of reciprocity,
Right.
right? I believe what I give, I want to receive it, and we'll keep that cycle going. So if I can go and support one, because I want to show love. I want to show
Right.
love, and I want to remain visible. I believe that if I show support, then I should receive that. That's just what I believe. And if it doesn't happen, that's okay. I'm going to do my part.
Right. Right.
I'm going
That's
to do my
word
part.
right there. That's word
Yeah.
right there. Now I got a question for you, because I'm kind of switching gears back into the cigar vein. But so, Sister of the Leaf,
Mm-hmm.
starting the lounge.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that the cigar industry supported you, or was accepting of you as a woman coming into the cigar industry and a lounge owner? Do you feel that they were welcoming to you
The industry
as
as
a
a
whole?
whole,
Yeah, as a whole.
I can't say yes. I can't say yes. I don't want to say hard no. I have a few hurdles that I have to jump every day. One, and it's not a cry me a river moment. I'm female, right?
Right.
I'm female in a male dominant hobby, right? Now career, right?
Right.
So
Right.
that's one, and that's a given. I have browner skin,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
It is a thing. It is an issue with some, and I'll leave it at that. So
Okay.
those are the main two hurdles that I jump every single day. I even have to fight the good fight, so to speak, on the daily in the lounge.
Hmm.
Let's just say, obviously you do this pretty much every day. You're visiting different shops. You're inundated with the culture. You know what's going on in the community. But for those that are not on social media, for those that maybe are passing through on 35, enter in Dallas, Googling cigar shops, find my shop, walk in, see a female, and go in the humidor, and then I walk behind and was like, hey, what we smoking on today? How can I help you? Oh, and then they're rude, right?
Right.
And they're rude because of the female thing. I've even had people say, "Is the owner here?" And I
Wow.
just laugh. Or I've had people to say, "Oh, they'll try to test my knowledge. Oh, I like Fuentes. What do you have in the Fuente category?" So I start talking about the couple Fuentes that we carry, and they're, "Oh, what do you know about it?" Or it sounds like you may know a little something. I'm
Wow.
like, well, I kind of have to, so I get that disrespect, whether blatant, whether subtle. I get it every day. But as far
Wow.
as being a lounge owner and communicating with manufacturers, communicating with cigar companies, there's an extra hurdle or two that I have to jump. But because I work hard, I don't care. I'm going to figure out how to
Yeah.
get around it and get to who I need to talk to, or know someone that can talk on my behalf. But that happens on the daily.
Do you see it changing in the future? Because I'm seeing a lot of ladies are kind of coming together, like they have the SOTL global movement, and those ladies are doing a lot of work to, I believe, kind of change the narrative as it relates to women in the cigar industry. What do you think about some of those groups like that? Do you see it changing, in the near future?
I think that it will change on the consumer level faster than it will on the owner level.
Hmm.
So when you are a consumer, you're talking about those different groups that are moving around, and because ladies are part of certain groups, and ladies are doing philanthropic measures around cigars, I think that you'll see more movement on that level faster than you will on my level.
Okay.
In my level, it is more of going to these trade shows, taking these trips, going to these big time cigar events where manufacturers or the farmers are present, where you're getting to know the people that are picking that cigar, that leaf, that tobacco, that tobacco out of the ground, and starting the process. Once I get in with those folks, then that's when some movement takes place. But there are not a lot of female lounge owners, for one, and then there's not a lot that are doing that. So when you see me traveling and moving around, it is for that purpose, specifically outside of DFW.
Yeah, I saw that you were at PCA this summer, and I had an opportunity on another show that I was doing on Facebook Live to interview Scott Peterson from the PCA, and I mentioned your name, and he knew exactly who you were, and I was kind of proud because I was like, she's from Dallas, Yeah, I mentioned it because I had a lot of questions, and when I was talking to him, the interview was supposed to be an interview with him just talking about what the PCA is all about, but naturally, being who I am, I wanted to dig in a little bit. So I wanted to ask some questions about, minority inclusion in the PCA and, what are we doing? What is the PCA doing to attract more small business cigar accessory companies, small lounge owners? What are we doing to just bring more minority business? And he answered my question and I was impressed. But during the time when he was talking, I said, yeah, I knew a couple of people that went out, and I dropped your name in Lawrence, of course, from Easy Ash. And he said, oh, yeah, I recognize both names. I think I met them both. I know I met Lawrence. But it was just the idea that they were paying attention. What do you think about the PCA's role in the cigar industry today? Do you feel that, it's advantageous to go to PCA?
I think that is vital. What they're doing is vital because there are governing body when you're talking about fighting tobacco laws, trying to advance the culture. For example, you probably heard of this. A lot of the flavor cigars they're trying to take off the market, right? So PCA gets on the front lines that are fighting for us to keep that, especially Drew Estate. That would knock out.
That would kill them.
Percentage, 20%, 30% of their offering, but. That we like those cigars. I mean, that's how I started smoking cigars. That's what drew me into the country. So into the industry. So I think that what they're doing is vital. The other thing that they're doing, and I don't know if you guys know Jay Davis. He's at Blue Smoke. Jay has done a lot for me behind the scenes. He's actually on the board of PCA. So having conversations with him and just about the laws, that are helping us, hurting us, who to vote for. Not telling you who to vote for, but just understanding who's pro tobacco, and all of those things are vital. So going to that show, especially as a new company, a small company that's trying to get my footing and to grow roots in the tobacco industry, I have to be there. If I'm not there, I'm not meeting these owners. I'm not making these deals. I can't order 100 boxes from every company. I can't store that. I can't afford that. So having the face-to-face, even if it's at the bar, a lot of business takes place outside of the show at the bar.
Right. I heard.
Yeah, actually, that's how I met Carlito, who I think you had on your show a couple weeks ago, if not last week, at the bar.
Yes.
So, and I saw him chime on earlier and comment, but meeting these people that can say, hey, I know her, I met her, open her account. No, she doesn't need a minimum, she's good. Or her minimum doesn't need to be X amount, let's have her minimum this amount. Those are the deals that take place that help someone like me, who is a up and coming small company that's working with a budget that is growing, not grand, but it's growing, it's progressive. I need that assistance. So the locking arms is what PCA and also TPE, that's what it has done for me.
Yeah. So where do you see Blowin Smoke, Edwina Brown, in the next 5 years? Where would you like to see?
I think for the original Blowin Smoke, and I did use that word specifically, for the original Blowin Smoke location, we would like to get to our own building, get out of having to pay a landlord, and you're paying so much money in rent 3 to 5 years that you're in that space that could obviously be going towards real estate, towards your own company, own name. So we would like to have our own location. We would like to have multiple locations. That is something that was very close to happening in the past, but things happen for a reason. The deal fell through really at the 12th hour, as they say. It fell through at the last minute, but it was meant Maybe we weren't ready. Maybe the landlord at times wasn't someone that we would be compatible with. So it didn't go through. So we definitely want to, I'm learning a lot, even in this location in Lancaster. I've learned a lot in 1 year. We're going to be there a few more years, and then at the same time, look for our own building, but definitely multiple locations, and not just in DFW. We've had a lot of people to ask questions about launching in other states.
Wow.
And putting the brand
Wow.
on it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about right
Yeah.
there. That's what I'm talking about. I'm so proud of you, my friend. I'm so proud of you. Carlito's still here. He just commented. He
I
said,
see it.
Still here following every word. Next time we run into each other, it is I who wants an autograph from you. You're a real inspiration to the positive things in the industry office.
Yeah, I see
Carlito, thanks for chiming in, my brother.
Yeah.
It's always good to have you in the building. We're going to have to talk again real soon, man.
Yeah.
But he's right, though, Edwina. You set the tone. You set the tone. And I think a lot of people what my goal for this interview was not to just talk about cigars, but to talk about you, because you are blowing smoke,
Thank you.
And I think that, hopefully somebody, maybe it was one of those assholes that came in there, he might be watching this interview. Maybe now he sees, hey, I'm dealing with somebody that knows more than most.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to take the time to be a little bit more open. And then for those that think they know you but don't know your journey, maybe they'll learn a little bit more and maybe respect you just a little bit more and understand your journey and support just a little bit more. That's what it's all about.
And why I don't know why they coined this phrase, I'm aggressive. I'm an athlete, bro. I'm going to be aggressive.
Oh, well, yeah.
And you can't come at me sideways. Perhaps I am aggressive.
Hey, but if you're strong, you can deal with aggressive. You just got to be strong.
Say that.
Yeah, you're not strong, you can't deal with aggressive. That's all. It's not going to matter what they learn tonight. If they soft, they ain't going to be able to deal with the aggressive tomorrow.
At all.
Just like they could yesterday. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But I want to thank you for joining me tonight.
You're welcome.
I just want to thank you for supporting me the way you do. I'm new to this whole game. I've been around here for a year now, and it's great to know that I have people like you that I can lean on and talk to and learn from. And you've taught me a lot just through example. I don't think I've ever walked up and asked you a question, but I've learned a lot just sitting back and watching you do what you do. And I say thank you to you. And before we go, what's going on in the next couple of weeks at Blowin Smoke? I know we got Rocktober this week.
Rocktoberfest on Saturday. Yeah, I'm excited. There's a panel. Rockstar wants to do a cigar ed piece, which I love. I'm all for education of the industry. I don't know his question lineup, but he has to host it at my lounge. I think because the stage is a perfect setting. That's going to be this Saturday, 4 to 7. I'm slated to be on the panel, so I'm excited to be able to share whatever questions are directed my way. And then on November 12th, we have our 4-year anniversary.
Yes.
So we actually had a situation that happened last night that we got to pivot on our cigar company, but I will release who the new cigar company is going to be in the next couple of days.
Okay.
But we will have a cigar company in the building doing a phenomenal promo. And then we're going to bring back Soulful Sounds. We're going to bring them back into the building. Yeah, we're going to bring them back. They're going to do a longer segment with the band. So that's going to be Saturday, November 12th, 6 o'clock. We'll do our Herfador. Well, I'm calling it a Herf. So it's basically a smoke. So a cut and light. But our welcome Herf is going to be with the company that I'll announce in the next couple of days. And then we'll roll right into the music. So it's going to be good times. Get your table. I will say, and I'm not just saying it to say it, you may want to reserve a table.
I got my table.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying for everybody else. I don't know that we had many seats available last year for our 3-year. I think we had a couple along the wall, but you might want to get your seat to get your table.
I definitely recommend you guys contact them and get a table, or you'll be standing up. You're still gonna have a good time though.
Yeah, you got a good time.
I had a table and I stood up, so it was a good time. You will never have a great time like you will have at Blowin Smoke. Don't forget, they have karaoke.
Oh yeah,
Every Tuesday night is going down for karaoke. I'm always doing the lounge with Ray, so I
that's
never
right.
get to come anymore. But
That's
you
right.
know, I've experienced it a couple of times. I was at the first one, and
Hmm.
it was a great time. So you guys get over to Blowin Smoke. It's in Lancaster, Texas, 3504 South Interstate 35, right?
Where did you get that address
Is it
from?
is it 3504?
No, sir.
What is it?
That's okay though. You're close. 1604 North Interstate 35 in
Man, I was only
Lancaster,
20
Texas.
some blocks off. I was only 2,000 blocks off.
1604. 1604.
All right, man. And I just want to thank you. This has been Conversations with Chevalier, with my friend, my mentor, my partner, Edwina Brown.
Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it.
All right, and thank you for joining us. This has been our show tonight. You guys make sure you stay safe, stay smoky, and remember the Chevalier lifestyle. We smoke the cigar, sip the whiskey, sing to the music, and savor the cuisine. Chevalier's out. Y'all have a good evening. Good night, Edwina.
Have a good night, everybody.
See you this weekend.
All right.